Up in the news, President Akufo-Addo assures of his resolve to manage resources to spur growth.
State of our water bodies as World marks World Water Day tomorrow.
Parliament approves Deputy Regional Minister nominees. So good evening and thank you so much for joining us for News Hour live on GBC24. We are also live on Ghana Television. My name is Akbene Avo Ajaja.
And my name is Evans Champon.
The news now in detail. The President Nana Akufo-Addo says his government is determined to build a country that will no longer be dependent on charity and handouts.
Speaking to Ghanaian community on the margins of the African CEO Forum in Geneva, Switzerland, the president said he is poised at managing resources of Ghana to spur a speedy growth.
Ghanaians across the globe have carved a niche for themselves. They occupy top-notch positions in organizations and doing very well in business and other areas of endeavor, and such is the situation in Geneva, Switzerland. This is the first time the President Nana Akufo-Addo is meeting citizens in Geneva in his new capacity as a leader of Ghana. He was impressed about their creditable performance in their chosen fields of work. This meeting brought together Ghanaian businessmen and professionals in Geneva who are willing to come back home to establish businesses. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC, Mr. Yofi Grant, who accompanied the President, noted there are some reforms needed to be made to accentuate Ghana as an attraction. He reiterated the government has removed all nuisance taxes, which hitherto were stumbling blocks to the growth of business.
We've actually put together very auspicious and audacious ambitions and goals. First, to make Ghana the best place to invest in. Secondly, the best place to do business. Now, why it's important to you is that in our quest for investment is always about capital. Now, capital is in many ways. There's a physical cash capital, but there's also intellectual capital, and there's also social capital. And so I would urge you to relook Ghana again, because one day Ghana will be just like Switzerland is. And instead of you coming here, you'll become Ghana.
President Akufo-Addo said his government is ready to harness the national resources, both human and material, in order to build a nation without aid. He gave the assurance that government will strengthen the private sector and ensure a significant reduction in the country's fiscal deficit from 9% to 6% this year.
I'm saying that we now have run out of excuses in justifying that set of circumstances because we have it within us to create a new paradigm. What is that paradigm? That we can build a Ghana beyond aid. We can build a Ghana which is no longer dependent on handouts and charity from well-meaning people, whatever hue and so on. To be able to say that we, from our own resources, with our own intelligence and relying on our own resources, can mobilize public action to be able to confront the issues of development effectively. I am fully committed to that view of Ghana's future. And I believe from the bottom of my heart that if indeed we all put our shoulders to the wheel, we can achieve that. We can achieve that by Ghana beyond aid.
He said government is instituting strategies to create an enabling environment for business and investment.
Within 2 months of coming to office, we were compelled to produce a budget. This budget, for the first time in the history of Ghana, actually received applause. People went out of their way in many of the major cities of our country drinking and celebrating the budget. It's an unusual development, largely because they saw in the budget clear signs of a government that was committed to doing two things. One, trying to bring relief to people who had a very difficult time in the last few years, and at the same time setting the ground rules, hopefully for growth and development. The budget then is looking also at providing a lead for the private sector to be able to grow our economy. We put inside the budget, despite the challenges that you talked about the absence of fiscal space, $100 million relief stimulus package for Ghanaian local industry within the confines of the budget. All of this part of the desire we have to grow the economy as rapidly as possible.
The president is expected back to Ghana on Thursday, March 23rd.
Still in Switzerland, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, has expressed dismay about the Kintampo waterfall tragedy in which about 20 students were killed. The Ghanaian Community Forum in Geneva held a minute silence for the victims after President Akufo-Addo had made his remarks.
Something happened in Ghana today which is a very sad occurrence for all of us, and that is this freak accident that took place in Kintampo, where a tree fell into a river and as a result of heavy rainfall, it's killed 18 young men. Apparently, so far, according to the evidence, 22 people have been injured. It's a freak accident. It's a sad thing. I think that before I go on, I'd like you to join me in standing up and having a minute silence in memory of the May their souls and the souls of all the faithful departed rest and abide in the bosom of the Almighty till the last day of the resurrection, when we shall all meet again. Amen.
Human activities continue to threaten the existence of water bodies across the country. In Accra, the Wager Lake, the Korle Lagoon, and the Odo River are still being polluted despite public education against such practices. Thelma Taki looks at the state to build these water bodies in the capital to herald tomorrow's World Water Day.
World Water Day on 22nd March every year is observed to tackle the water crisis globally. Today, there are over 663 million people living without safe water. They spend countless hours queuing or trekking to distant places in search of water, some oblivious of the health implications of using contaminated water. In 1993, the United Nations General Assembly officially designated March 22nd as World Water Day, a day to highlight the importance of water and the need to address water supply challenges. The UN Sustainable Development Goals, launched in 2015, include a target to ensure that everyone has access to safe water by 2030, making water a key issue in the fight to eradicate extreme poverty. Rivers and lakes are great sources of water for many, and protecting such water sources ensures sufficient supply for domestic and industrial uses. Wager in the Ga-South municipality of the Greater Accra region was the first port of call in our rounds to check the state of water bodies in the capital. The Wager Lake is one of the biggest inland water bodies in Accra. The lake covers an area of about 9,000 square hectares. It is a dam where water is treated for some 2.5 million consumers in parts of Accra. It is a vast expanse of fresh water from a bedside view. Apart from being the main source of water to be treated and supplied to various parts of Accra, the Wager River also serves as a source of livelihood for many people like Daniel here, who rely on it as a source of income. He's a fisherman and he's been doing it for 15 years. We speak to him and find out what his experiences have been. He speaks in Chi. Daniel, what's it saying?
Jumano na mika chiro da se jumano mremi beba huko nsuso mbetimi anya na so na se mremi su beba nso mu ko so amunye na ho bia
We are not always able to get a good catch. Part of the problem is that some of the fishermen use the wrong size of nets, which depletes the stock.
Abufra ni ho na se abufra su ni ho so a pani ni ho enti e bedwu ni ho sa na ya hu se sa ne mai onu na mana nam no so ensan do so nso na no bi.
But all is not well at the Wager Lake. As we are told by this gentleman, people dump all manner of things into the lake under the cover of darkness. Leftover food from vendors, as well as other items which he claims are for ritual purposes.
When we complain, we don't get anywhere. Sometimes people even leave coffin and other weird items here.
Mr. Joseph Annan suggested that some security posts should be mounted along the banks of the river to check people who pollute the water body, especially in the night. He also called on the city authorities to help deter miscreants by providing lights to illuminate that portion of the lake. The team noticed that these young men also pump water from the lake into water tankers. They claim they sell the water to construction workers. We could not independently confirm if they sell the water to unsuspecting domestic consumers. From Wager, the team journeyed to the Kole Lagoon. According to folklore, a popular goddess once inhabited this water body. Now, years of pollution has left the lagoon in this state. A number of canoes sit at the banks of the lagoon, with fishing nets lined by them. The water body is overgrown with weeds, and one can see evidence of attempts to dredge it. Domestic waste from the neighboring Old Fadama settlement, commonly known as Sodom and Gomorrah, all end up in the Kole Lagoon. Cattle rearers also find the place a convenient spot for their animals to graze. Just across the street from the lagoon, the Kole beach also suffers from indiscriminate dumping of plastic waste. Elsewhere in the capital, near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, the Odo River is now confined to this canal. Pollution is evident here as some people openly urinate into the river. It may not be wrong to say that the Odo River is now a passage for wastewater for businesses and households in that area. The UN theme for World Water Day this year is about wastewater.
A construction and landscaping engineer, Mr. Yao Seiji, has polished up the effigy of late Private Odate Lamte in Accra free of charge. He was moved by a special report on GBC24 on the 27th of March this year to herald Ghana's independence celebrations. As a result of the voluntary gesture, the bust is now looking new and tidy.
The 28th February Road Primary and Private Odate Lamte Memorial GHS was christened in 1995 after one of the three ex-servicemen who fell during the Christian Borg Crossroads shooting in 1948. This bust here was put up by government in honor of the late Private Odate Lamte. For Private Odate Lamte. As part of special stories telecast by GBC24 to herald Ghana's 60 years of independence, the news crew reported on the school and the state of the bust of Private Odate Lamte, which has seen no major facelift since it was erected here. A man who is into construction and landscaping, Mr. CAJ, was touched by the story and said Ghanaian heroes, whether dead or alive, must be celebrated.
The best thing one can do is to lay down his life. And if these people were amongst those who lay down their lives, then they must be really upheld high. So I felt that, look, the little I can do is to follow up your documentary and make sure that I also put this thing in the proper shape. We actually did some sandpapering, trying to get some old stuff of paint on it. We did some sandpapering. We also, after that, tried to wash the entire terrazzo piece that it was on because it was really dirty. And we washed it with acid so that it could be very clean. After that, we also painted the statue into browns. Yeah, into bronze color so that it will assume a very beautiful stand.
This is the new look of the late Private Odate Lamte's bust, thanks to Mr. Oseji.
We should have a park, part of the children's park, if I could say, should be converted to a monumentary park where we have portrait statues of all the people who have done something. Maybe you have from Nkrumah, Nikobra Boni, Cooperativo, anybody who has contributed towards the nation in any way, politically towards independence, politically towards our economic growth, politically towards a diverse way that we have come from into this present state, in as much as the person has done something that is acceptable, recognizably, then a portrait must be put there. A little history written about the person. This can also yield money for the nation because it can be a tourist attraction.
It is hoped that the example set by Mr. Oseji will be emulated by many to protect other similar monuments across the country.
This is News Hour Live on GBC24 and GTV. We'll be back shortly with a business segment. Do stay with us.
Still News Alive on GBC24. We talk business. My name is Marius Ogbete. Now, on the sidelines of the 5th Africa CEOs Forum in Geneva, Switzerland, President Akufo-Addo met with the investor community to woo them to invest in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo's message centered on Ghana's drive towards industrialization and his quest to build a country beyond aid. He assured them that his administration will work with them as partners and not competitors for business opportunities in the country.
President Akufo-Addo is in Geneva, Switzerland for this year's Africa CEOs Forum. The forum brings together chief executives of Africa's multinational companies as well as political decision makers from more than 40 African countries and investors to discuss how to grow investment on the African continent. This year's edition is christened Rethinking the African Business Model to Remain Relevant in a Changing and Competitive Environment. President Akufo-Addo, who is attending the forum for the first time, decided to meet the investor community to sell his industrial transformation agenda to them. He assured them of government preparedness to build the fundamentals of the Ghanaian economy to enable investors get good return on their investment.
Whatever we need to do to clean up the business climate in our country, make it possible for people like you to put your money into Ghana and feel secure about putting your money into Ghana, so that we can derive from you not just the benefit of capital, but also, of course, of productivity and even perhaps even more significantly, good working habits, is the way forward for us. So it is that has been and will continue to be our prime concern. What can we do to create an enabling business climate that would allow both domestic and foreign investment in Ghana to flourish? We have taken off as much as $1 billion CD, roughly $250 million, out of the revenue net for the doing of business in Ghana, with a commitment to doing more. So levies on electricity, on petroleum, all kinds of levies on doing businesses in Ghana have all been removed.
President Akufo-Addo assured the investors that his appointees will not compete with the private sector.
There have been and will continue to be for some time persistent talk, allegations about widespread corruption at the heart of our government, in our system of procurement and in the manner in which business is done. Ministers with their hands out, members of the executive with their hands out, and if you don't put something in their palms, your business doesn't happen. My analysis, this is what I've told the Ghanaian people, is that we're going to put an end to that. We are going to turn a new leaf in the way in which government and the private sector and business works. That we want to build a Ghana beyond aid. That we want to build a Ghana which looks to its own resources to build an economy that is not dependent on charity and handouts, which has been the Ghanaian and African paradigm up till now, but that will look at the proper management of its resources as the way in which to engineer economic and social growth in our nation. I believe that responds to the instincts and the wishes and the aspirations of our people, and that is the commitment that we have made. And we want to build an economy that is an economy that is beyond aid, that is not dependent on the charity and the handouts of other people for it to grow.
Nana Akufo-Addo said, though the Ghanaian economy is currently under stress, the measures put in place in the 2017 budget have the potential to help Ghana turn a new leaf.
And back here in Ghana, Chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament, Dr. Mark Osei Esibe, has told members of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association that the 5% real estate and the 17.5% financial services tax abolished in the 2017 budget will take effect by Thursday, 30th March. Dr. Mark Esibe Yeboah said the special import levy has already been passed by Parliament. The tax reductions are expected to marginally impact cost of housing.
What I can promise is that before Parliament rises next Thursday, we'll deal with that. So that 5% VAT on real estate sales is going. By next Thursday, we'll be gone.
While members of GREDA welcome some real estate related tax cuts in the 2017 budget, they say that the challenges preventing them from putting up affordable housing are skin deep. In a regime where interest rates on mortgage is pegged at 30% and above, they contend that delivering affordable housing to Ghanaians is almost impossible. According to the 2015 National Housing Act, a house is affordable when the buyer spends not more than 30% of his or her income on financing.
The problem is not in the cost of the price. The problem is in the mortgage. In other countries, you have 3%, like advanced countries. In the ECOWAS countries, where you use the CFC, they're using 7%, 8%. And in Ghana, you're using 35%. That makes it unaffordable. So it's a financing problem. GREDA members, we are building affordable housing. The problem is on the finance side. And the finance side is a government policy.
Apart from issues relating to interest rate and a depreciating Ghana cedi, real estate developers have had to grapple with land acquisition and land title registration.
We have been challenged by government and we have accepted the challenge. The Nana-led government has said in the manifesto of the NPP that land registration should be delivered in 30 days. And as a commission, the government agency responsible for that tax has accepted the challenge, and we have accepted and acknowledged that we can do it within 30 days. We can do it within 30 days, but we need to build the structures. Within the structures in terms of migration from the manual environment to a digital platform.
Speaking on the sidelines of an annual GREDA conference in Accra, the president of GREDA, Mr. Kwache Dapuade, called for more government collaboration.
What we're asking for was the government to partner us to give us infrastructure in the industry so that it will still reduce the price, because it's a very big burden on us. If you buy a land and then you have to do the roads and other services, it increases the price of the land.
The Ghana Real Estate Developers Association is calling for a housing revolving fund which guarantees members long-term funds. They also ask that the amount of pension funds invested in real estate be increased from the current 5% upwards.
Still business live on GBC24. Now, pre-arrival assessment reporting system is a vocabulary in custom operations. Prior to arrival of goods at the ports, importers are expected to update custom officials with fact sheet on the product. The Custom Division is urging importers to acquaint themselves with the upgraded version of the procedure.
The
implementation of the pre-arrival assessment reporting system by the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority took off a couple of years ago. The latest version of the software is expected to speed up the clearing of goods at the ports. At a training forum for the system users in Accra, a revenue assistant at the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Mr. Obidieba Hector, mentioned some of the new features of the system.
New features include maybe the duplication tab where items, which are many, example, importers bringing same items but different unit prices and different packing. We could just click on duplicating tab to make it easy. And also, most issues are with the net weight and the gross weight. So it is going to be direct that we need the net weight of each item. And then the final will be the net weight of all the items.
He further explained how the system was going to enhance revenue mobilization.
We also trying to make the CCVR very authentic and faster. And as you know, Customs is a revenue mobilization agency. We want to be able to bring out the CCVRs in time and then also assist the declarants, since they are the ones who send the entries to us, make it easy, and then we also deliver quickly on time. And as we are able to get the CCVRs quickly, the revenue also comes early.
Some of the importers and clearing agents lauded the move to improve upon the system.
Improving as time goes on is a good idea. So if they are bringing an improvement, I think it will help all of us.
I find it okay. It's good, and looking at it, it's going to ease with the process.
The upgraded version of the pre-arrival assessment reporting system is under trial and will soon be implemented.
We go over to the interbank market where the dollar is trading at 4 cedis 51 pesos, the pound at 5 cedis 59 pesos, and the euro going for 4 cedis 85 pesos. We also bring you latest prices of major commodities on the international market. We'll do some health after this break. Stay.
Welcome back. It's time for some health news brought to you by Yamvita. Alcohol abuse is inimical to life. Hence, the Ministry of Health and its partners have launched a policy to regulate the production, distribution, marketing, and consumption of alcohol in the country. According to the Health Minister, Mr. Kwekwajiman Menu, some herbal preparations contain significant percentage of alcohol, yet unsuspecting consumers are made to believe that the herb-based drugs are medicinal.
Abuse of alcohol has been a source of global concern. Scientific evidence has proven that before the age of 25, the human brain is still undergoing development. A part of the brain called cortex is the last part of the brain to develop. Experts say this explains why exposure to alcohol and other psychoactive drugs before this critical time may cause a damage to the brain in future. The WHO indicates that in 2012, more than 50% of alcohol produced worldwide was consumed. 16% of the consumption was by the youth, whose ages range between 15 and 13. The study also revealed that 3.3 million deaths were attributed to alcohol consumption. This worrying trend has prompted the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders to launch the National Alcohol Policy Document to regulate the production, distribution, marketing, and consumption of alcohol beverages in the country. The document also seeks to initiate a series of education programs to discourage alcohol abuse. According to the Health Minister, Mr. Kweku Agyemang-Manu, some herbal preparations advertised as medicinal is misleading.
Some herbal preparations also contain significant percentages of alcohol, and yet these preparations are advertised as medicinal, which can be misleading. Again, alcohol is used as a preservative for herbal products, many of which are advertised for their supposed aphrodisiac effects, thereby inducing very high patronage. It is well known that some segments of the population, such as children and pregnant women, are more vulnerable to developing alcohol-related conditions. The use of alcohol by women in their childbearing years can negatively affect both maternal and child health.
The Barak Policy Institute facilitated the compilation of the policy document. The president of the institute, Mr. Salem Kalmoni, said it holds many advantages.
It's very important that as many people read the policy, and when you read it, you will see many ideas and guidelines that have been thought to improve our lives when it comes to the manufacturing, distribution, marketing of alcohol, and hopefully you will agree that this is beneficial.
Health professionals say excessive consumption of alcohol could prove fatal in the long run, as it causes liver and heart-related diseases, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, among others.
Still in the segments, the National Health Insurance Authority will soon mete out punitive measures on defaulting service providers. Some policies are also to be modified to make the scheme responsive to healthcare needs. These are some immediate plans of the just appointed Chief Executive of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Samuel Ano. Sarah Ofori reports.
The primary aim of the National Health Insurance Scheme is to enhance access to healthcare by eliminating the financial barriers. Although subscription to the scheme is increasing on a daily basis, complaints about the ineffectiveness of the scheme also abound. Some say the scheme is fraught with corruption. The President, Nana Akufo-Addo, has said time and again that the National Health Insurance Scheme is not working and would revise it to comprehensively deal with public concerns. He has appointed a consultant gynecologist with 28 years of experience and accreditations in the field in Ghana and South Africa, Dr. Samuel Ano, as Chief Executive of the National Health Insurance Authority.
The people of Ghana know that the kind of health service we are providing them is bad. It is time for us to accept that things are not going the way Ghanaians expect to see. We'll have to do an individual and collective audit to see why the people we serve are not happy with us. We have to enter a phase where we're all going to be transparent, so that when all of us know what the problem is, and all of us know the possible solutions on the table.
Dr. Ano indicates that there would be punitive measures to weed out service providers who cheat out on the scheme.
Knowing the perception out there, once we know the solution, if it is corruption, we have to root it out. If it is the income which is not enough, we have to correct it. If it is the administrative in terms of software efficiencies or inefficiencies that we have in the system, we have to make it more efficient. If it is our service providers whom we cannot control, but the minister hinted, you've got a claim which we think is not being properly prepared, send it back. The same service provider continues to do that. He has to undergo some form of punishment or punitive action.
The Minister for Health, Mr. Kweku Agyemang-Manu, called for cooperation and support of workers of the authority during the revision period.
We may have to redirect costs and put premium on the subscriber, whose little premium we have taken, and give premium to the government, who is levying people to provide them with health care by not putting up money out of our pockets.
Mr. Agyemang-Manu said a periodic assessment will be done to ensure the revival and sustenance of the scheme. Cyril Fori, GBC24, Accra.
All in health news brought to you by Yamvita. International news comes up next.
Hello, good evening. Let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. The national skate soccer team, the Rolling Rockets, on Sunday became the first team in the International Federation of Skate Soccer (IFSS) to win a championship. Ghana beat Nigeria by 3-2 at the maiden championship.
The Black Star Square in Accra was the venue for the inauguration of the International Federation of Skate Soccer (IFSS). Skate soccer is a reverting sport played by physically challenged individuals, especially polio survivors. The players sit on a small handmade skateboard and play a game very similar to association football, except the ball is played with the hands. The most appealing thing about the sport is the incredible skill and talent the players exhibit. The clash between Ghana and Nigeria was the maiden international match to usher the game to the world. The Nigerians were delighted to watch as they controlled the game in the first half, but it was the Ghanaians who opened the scoring through Osman. Nigeria then got the equalizer through Danjuma before the first 45 minutes reached. Back from the break, Ghana's captain Gariba scored. Ghana enjoyed a greater percentage of play, and their efforts paid off again as Aminu scored their third goal. The Nigerians did not give up as they scored to reduce the deficit. Ghana held on to carry the day by 3-2. Captain said they were happy at the opportunity given them to showcase what they are made of.
Yes, I'm very happy. Why? Because game there is three in a game. You can win and you can lose and you can be a draw. So today I have lose. And I don't think maybe tomorrow when they come to Nigeria I'm going to win.
The
whole Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, Niger, Cameroon, Mbebo African Cup of Nations.
Officials shared their experience.
People think that there's nothing for them to gain in playing. I am physically challenged. All I can do is to beg. Begging is not the best thing to do. You don't have to be a beggar to be a celebrity. Today, these guys, in their own rights, are celebrities. You understand? So many cameras here taking, they don't know which part of the world somebody is going to see them.
We go out to help these people first and foremost, and you just look at them now, and we've achieved our goal. You know, we've signed a 10-year sponsorship agreement with IFSS. This is the first step, and you know, in time, when we do make this global, then we'll see that Benetton gets the global brand rub off that we wanted to have. But right for now, it's our effort, it's our money that goes behind this to help it get to this level.
Trophies and medals were presented to deserving players.
Let's talk rugby now, where the University of Ghana Inter-Halls Rugby Sevens Championship has ended. The African Union Hall emerged winners. They were decorated with gold medals and a trophy after beating International Students Hostel side by 14 points to 10.
The finals of the 2017 edition of the University of Ghana Inter-Halls Rugby Sevens Championship was between the International Students Hostel H in the yellow and black jerseys and the African Union Halls. The two were all first-timers in the competition, which is celebrating its 10th anniversary. The two teams stood tall in their groups to dispatch 6 other halls to reach the finals.
The lads in the yellow jersey-ish controlled the first half and made 2 tries to end the first half 10 points to nil. But from the break, the African Union Hall lads did the greatest comebacks as they managed to make a try with just 5 minutes left on the clock. They followed up with a conversion to put the scoreline at 10-7. In the dying embers of the game, Alfred D'Souza broke the defense line of Ish but was wrongly tackled less than 2 meters to the line. Referee called for a penalty try, which the African Union lads scored and successfully converted to end the encounter 14 points to 10 for the African Union Hall. Here are some reactions from the captains.
We had a team that we could play very well. We knew what we were doing. We are going to keep the trophy, so we're going to work hard for the upcoming game.
Unfortunately, I can say that we lost focus a bit and it really cost us dearly. However, we've learned our mistakes. Definitely we are going back to the drawing board and next year we are going to win.
Some officials from the Titans Sporting Club and the Greater Accra Rugby Association praised the teams for their efforts.
And it's good that the city have taken rugby up. It's very important for development and whatnot. So
the more students play the sports, the more people play. It means that they are going to demand more rugby balls, and that means more sales for us. So it's in our best interest to see the development of not just rugby but handball, volleyball, and all the other sports.
Titans is looking at developing the rugby on campus, and then from there we are going to scout the best from the halls, and they would make up the new face of Titans.
Medals and goodies from sponsors were presented to the teams. The 2016-2017 edition of the University of Ghana Inter-Hall Rugby Competition had 8 halls, namely the African Union Hall, Kwafu Hall, Commonwealth Hall, Hila Lehman Hall, Jane Nelson Aka Hall, Jubilee and International Students Hostel, Legon Hall and Mensa Sabah. That's all for sports.
Hello, good evening. Time for some art news. My name is Valerie Danso. Today is World Poetry Day, celebrated every year on 21st March. World Poetry Day celebrates linguistic expression. On the showbiz segment earlier today, a group of poets discussed the current state of poetry.
What parts of majesty can swallow up defeat and comfortably belch at rest? Definitely not me. I am a god. I am not religious, I'm Christ-like, not all righteous, but always in his right hand. I am just another justified presence of iniquity, present in your presence to present to you grace.
My mouth is filled with verbal ink. Forgive me if the canvas of your minds never find rest, because I am always verbally painting. In vitro fertilization. I invite you into my words nation. Injecting his words of spermatozoon directly even into your mind's ovum. I see your beauty in the thickest embers of darkness, hear your name in the early morning rays, and smell your smells amidst thousand smells. I confess, you made me. You found my weakness and made it strong. You heard my death and made it praise song. You chose to be the one to right my wrong and planted your name in my tender tongue.
Do you think poetry has a place in Ghana? Do you think it's going to stay?
This is something I call poetrycracy, by the people, for the people, and to the people.
Okay.
So once we are at post guarding it, we make sure we go there. But assuming it was made by some people for the people, then if the people choose to stay away, then it will die.
With poetry, you can actually tackle some issues, some trivial issues that probably you couldn't do in music. You get it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel poetry has come to stay, and moreover, it's gaining some serious sort of recognition that it didn't used to have.
If I would have to say a little about spoken word, it has always been with us, because the African tradition, information has always been handed down orally, and most often is done in music, others is done in kasakwa and all that. You see, all of these things are poetic in its in a way. So.
Okay. And that's all in the segment. Have a good evening.
Today we will look at weeding and overhead shade reduction. Weed control. Weeds compete with your cocoa trees for nutrients. They take out nutrients from the soil that should go to the cocoa tree. They attract insects and diseases onto your farm, so you must weed your farm regularly so that the cocoa trees get enough food and essential nutrients to produce more healthy pods. Overhead shade reduction. Shade trees help to regulate drought during the dry season. However, if there are too many of them, they cause high humidity, which causes diseases like black pod disease. There should be 5 to 6 trees per acre. To kill unwanted trees, use your cutlass to remove the bark of the excess trees. Coat the exposed area with engine oil or salt water. This kills the tree slowly. First, the leaves drop to the ground, and then the branches fall before finally the trunk dies. Less humidity will make your pods grow strong and healthy.
And that has been the weather. Do enjoy the rest of our interesting lineup for you.
And that's it for News Hour. We'll be back at 10 with News Tonight.
Good evening.